Okay, good evening. Welcome to this regular scheduled business meeting of the Summersville City Council on this 22nd day of April 2024. This time I would like to welcome all of our guests this evening, and we need to get moving right along as we've got a very lofty agenda. So the first item on the agenda is consideration of the council minutes of the meeting we held on April 8th, 2024.
Move to approve, waive the reading. Second.
Okay, council, we have a first and a second. The motion was to waive the reading. Are there any changes or amendments to those minutes as they were presented in your packet? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion so carries. The next item on the agenda is consideration of the council minutes of the reconvened meeting held on March 11th, 2024, which was the meeting from, or actually it was the March 11th, 2024 meeting held on April 16th of 2024. Entertain a motion?
Agree to waive the reading. Second.
We got a first and a second. Council, the motion on that was also to waive the reading. Are there any changes or amendments to those minutes as they were presented in your packet? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion so carries. Annabeth, did anybody sign up wanting to speak in public comment other than those that are on the agenda this evening?
I don't think so. I think they're all city council.
They're all agenda items? Okay, move right along. Okay, the next item on the agenda is something that's exciting for the city of Summersville. At this time, I would ask Corporal Stephen Mullins and his family and Chief Jay Nowak to please come forward. Okay, let's kind of stand right through here with your family if we could, Stevie. And can you introduce your kids to us?
This one is Merida.
Merida,
Zoya,
Zoya,
and my wife Beverly.
welcome, welcome. Okay, Corporal Stephen Mullins has met the Summersville Police Department requirements for the rank of sergeant, and tonight it is an honor to promote him. Of course, this has all been certified by our Chief, Jay Nowak. He has met the relevant skills demonstrating he is ready to accept the responsibility and duties to attain the rank of sergeant. You will now shoulder the responsibility of being a leader to your junior officers in the department, and we know you're ready for that. So we wish you the best in this new endeavor of now being a sergeant when you leave out of here tonight.
Appreciate it.
So what we've asked is you to bring your family to help promote you. So Chief, if you want to do one side and let the wife and the kids or assist with the other side.
You can just do it there.
Yeah, just stick it up there in the collar. Congratulations.
Appreciate you, Mayor.
Yep, thank you.
Chief, appreciate you.
Congratulations. We know the wife has a lot to do with that too. Kids, good to see you tonight. All right, good luck.
Appreciate you, Mayor.
Yep.
Appreciate you, Chief. Appreciate you, Craig.
Okay, is Commissioner Chapman here? No. Okay. Alrighty. Is anybody here from Forestry Council? Okay. We knew that the chairman, Chris Neal, could not be with us tonight. Chris Neal is the chairman. We're excited about the works of our Forestry Council under the leadership of Chris. Commissioner Chapman is a member, as well as Brian Bostic, and I hope I'm not leaving anybody else out. Are you? I am. Gosh, how could I do that? BJ Smith. BJ, I'll let you accept this on behalf of the Forestry Commission tonight. What I would like to do is read the following proclamation Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And I guess also havoc when you have storms like we did. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other products, wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property value, enhance the economic vitality of business area and beauty of our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now therefore, I, Robert L. Schaefer, Mayor of the City of Summersville, West Virginia, do hereby proclaim April 26, which is this coming Friday, 2024, as Arbor Day in the City of Summersville, West Virginia. And I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this future and future generations. Dated this day, the 22nd day of April, 2024. And the other thing I want to do, and BJ, I always do that to you, I don't know why, I always leave you out. I want to give many kudos and just salute the Forestry Council. Every year they do an Arbor Day program in Summersville Elementary School, which is going to take place again this year, where every single year they, along with Mon Power, First Energy, plant a tree too. So it's great to have them on as a partner. But the kids put on a wonderful program. We have a poster contest. The winners will be hanging up here in the city. It's Summersville Elementary School 5th grade and also New Life Christian Academy 5th grade. So we appreciate their partnership in our celebration of Arbor Day. BJ, I'll give this to you.
We get a photo?
Yeah. Thank you for what you do. That's right. So there you go, my glasses and get this on. Okay, the next agenda item. I messed up, I did. Boy, I made a mistake. First one this year. Yeah. Let me back up. What I'd like to do is back up. I did miss a very important item, as all items on the agenda are. As a community, we have the responsibility to address the needs and concerns of all citizens. It is therefore the reason I commissioned the following individuals to meet under the office of the mayor to find resolve for individuals that deserve humanity and an orderly process to normalcy in their lives. And I'm talking about the homeless. As a matter of fact, it's funny because sometimes people don't realize, and Chief Nowak brought it to my attention, that last week in one day we had 3 calls into the city about homeless in our community. So we have a tremendous responsibility, and it speaks volumes about our community in the response that we got when I announced at the last meeting that we were going to commission this effort to put a group of people together to maybe bring some resolve to our homelessness, not just in the city, but in our extended community, which I always refer to, and that's the great county of Nicholas. So what I'd like to do is commission the following people for this homeless commission. And of course, it will be led by Jim Epling, City Councilman, and Marianne Taylor, my Executive Assistant of the Mayor. The following people are appointed to the commission. Joan Stewart, Executive Director of West Virginia Ministries of Advocacy and Work Camps, and she's also the pastor of the Summersville Presbyterian Church. Chris Sims, pastor of iHeart Church. Morgan Berry, iHeart Church. Meg Hickey, administrator of Camden Family Health. Steve Polstawait, veteran liaison for Seneca Health Services. Jennifer Jarvis, Nicholas Community Action. Amanda Dietz, project manager, Seneca Health Services. Linda Hayes, retired nurse. Dana Gatewood, pastor of Summersville Baptist Church. David Ridgway, owner of Summersville Lake Retreat. Susan James, owner of Mountain Lake Campgrounds and Cabins. Leslie Durham McCoy, sales representative of Lake Country 95.7 FM. Nate Dickinson, pastor of Church of the Good Shepherd. Stephanie Smith, Family Treatment Court. Sarah McClung, Family Treatment Court. Sherry Cook, Family Treatment Court. Tim Westfall, Family Treatment Court. Gary Gerald, Family Treatment Court. Raven Ameline, Family Treatment Court. And Tamara Mullins, the Nicholas County Community Foundation Executive Director. So it's exciting to know that they're going to meet, they're going to put together a mission and vision for the group, and then hopefully bring some humanity and resolve for those in our community that deserve it, that are homeless. So we look forward to the endeavors of that commission. Okay, then the next item, we'll skip the item that we did out of line, and we'll move right to the presentation of the Nicholas Intervention Coalition. At this time, I would ask Lauren Weatherford to come to the podium, and Lauren, anybody that you brought with you, if you would bring them with you.
Hello, thank you for having us this evening. My name is Lauren Weatherford, and I'm the Family and Community Development Agent with WVU Extension here in Nicholas, and I also cover Fayette County. I'll let each of these guys introduce themselves.
I'm Mark Brown. I'm the Area Director of Young Life here in Nicholas County, and I serve on the Nicholas Intervention Coalition with Lauren.
Amy Walker, Nicholas County 4-H with Extension Service. I also serve on the Prevention Committee as the subcommittee for prevention.
So what I have for you today is, and what our team has brought to you, is an introduction, just a preview of our youth survey that we've done every 2 years. We hope to continue to be able to do. And this kind of gives us an image of what is actually happening with substance use and misuse in our county. And I'll just go through, I've got a PowerPoint. I'm going to have to turn around just a little bit because I have to be able to see it. But we're just going to kind of give you a preview, and then I want to talk a little bit about why this is so important and what we do with it. It's one thing to collect the data. The other part is what do you do with the data and what difference does that make? So we're going to talk about that, and then probably ask for a different time that we could meet with members of City Council and hopefully some other stakeholders and go over the survey in more detail. But today you've got a jam-packed agenda, so we're not going to take too much of your time, just give you a preview if that's all right. And Mayor, I believe everyone has a brochure, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you can pull that brochure out. There are some of the images that are going to be the same. And I'll go ahead and just get started. Go ahead and skip forward 2 if you don't mind. All right, so the first part is why do we do this survey? What, where, and why, the what, who, and why, and why does it matter? So let's go ahead. So we collect this biannually, meaning every 2 years. We started in 2020, and we did it again in fall 22, and we're hoping to do it again in fall 2024. So what are we doing, and who are we asking? We're giving this survey to all 7th, 9th, and 11th graders throughout Nicholas County. So this is a self-assessment, but this is we use a survey company that has developed this. They implement similar surveys all over the country. So this is a very science-based survey. This wasn't something where we just designed some questions and asked some people. This was very much a science-based survey, and this follows some certain things that we need to know about substance use in our counties. So the top things that it really takes a look at are tobacco, e-cigarettes, alcohol, marijuana, prescription drugs, and opioid painkillers. So some of the things that we're most worried about. All right, next. So some of the things that it examines are annual and monthly use. So we know how much our youth are reporting that they're using annually, but then also break it down by monthly use, where they're using, and when they're using. Let me ask you all, why would those two things be so important?
Prevention.
Huh?
If they're in school, how they're getting to school,
Yeah,
on buses.
yeah. So if we know what they're doing and where they're doing it and when they're doing it, then we can target our prevention efforts towards those times and areas. All right? No, sorry, didn't mean the all right for that. I'm almost there. So core measures, and this is just kind of a national standard when you're looking at these questions. What do people kind of evaluate? Reported 30-day use, so that's under that monthly use from there. Perception of risk. So this can be parental and teacher type risk, but it's also what do the students perceive to be risks. That's also a very key thing, because if you think about it, some of us may think that alcohol doesn't have that much of a risk, but an opioid has a huge risk. So what are the students, what are the youth thinking about these things? Perception of parental disapproval, that is known to be a very important factor. If parents and family leaders have communicated that, and we've got a very interesting number from that. And perception of friends' disapproval in you. So there's that whole peer pressure thing that we've heard about our whole lives, right? All right, now we're next. So two things that we really look at are both, and this is the two sides of the same coin, the risk factors and then the protective factors. So the risk factors are what kinds of things are the Nicholas County youth, where are we really having trouble in terms of things that could be factors in these young people's lives that would allow them to try to use substances, and then what are the things that are preventing them from doing that. So we look at both of those angles. Next. Just to give you, just for a moment, what is the Nicholas County Intervention Coalition? Our mission to collaborate with community partners to prevent substance misuse among youth and adults in Nicholas County, West Virginia, by raising awareness, using evidence-based programs, advocating for policy change, and implementing environmental strategies. So, and we do have the QR code. I will flash it again before we're done, and that will link to our Facebook page if you want to know what the Nicholas County Intervention is up to. This is just one of many things that we're doing. All right, next please. Why does this matter? Well, these are two really important things. This kind of one statement highlights two things. Adolescents who feel a strong sense of community connection are equipped with the tools to resist harmful behaviors, are less prone to engaging in substance use and isolated activities. So what does that mean? If you feel that you are part of our community, if you feel like you have some place to go, something to do, some purpose here, then you're less prone to substance use. When educators, parents, and other adult figures impart refusal and resistance skills to teens, it significantly raises the chances of them avoiding risky behaviors. That also says, as a community, what do we communicate to our youth is okay and what is not okay? All right, next. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but this is part of the national standards that we use in this survey. There's 5 steps, including, so the 5 steps to strategic prevention. So this is really like, why do we look at these particular factors? What elements? The first step on there is assessment. And then we have capacity, planning, implementation, evaluation. And then there's also 2 guiding principles. The first one is cultural competencies, which really focuses on acceptance. One of the things you can imagine, if somebody's feeling alone or isolated or not part of the world, and I have yet to meet a middle schooler who thinks they fit in. Every middle schooler I've ever met throughout my entire life thinks they're different than everybody else, and that nobody sees the things the same way. And then, so that sense of acceptance, that sense of belonging, and then sustainability. So we don't want just one-time approaches. We want something over the long term that's really going to make a difference. Next. So what do we know? And these are not the actual 7 strategies, but these are some of the summaries that come from those 7 strategies. There is no silver bullet, there is not one program I could go to. If there was one program, I would be on my knees begging you for funding so that we could do that. But there isn't. There is not one thing we can do. No single policy change that will stop the misuse. No one curriculum or program that can eliminate it in our community. It takes many different things over a long period of time to really affect this change. So we always want to highlight that because it would be great if there was one answer, a black and white response, but there just isn't. So that's the down part. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the data, and believe it or not, there's some good news in there. All right, next, substance use. So 15% of students admit to using drugs, some kind of illicit drug. Oh, it's all of those things. So 15% out of all the 7th, 9th, and 11th graders that we surveyed, only 15% are reporting that they're using. 24% of the 11th graders have reported that they've used it, and then 12% of the 9th graders. All right? Which ones are they using the most? E-cigarettes, alcohol, marijuana, cigarettes. Of the people, that 15% overall who said that they're using, 6% said that they're using some kind of prescription drugs, over-the-counter inhalants or opioids. So that kind of perception that they're all hooked on some kind of opioid, it's really not that. That's not really what we're looking at. We are looking at a smaller percentage, and our question is that percentage is so significant, how do we still impact that? But 85% of our kids aren't using at all. So that's a good thing, right? All right, next one. Where are they using? 64% of them are using them at home, 57% at a friend's house, 33% are using them at school, 35% in a car, and 36% somewhere else. So, given that, where do we have the most significant issues? Outside of school. Yeah. So it's not in school that they're doing it. You can imagine why. When are students using drugs? 83% of them are using them on the weekends. Okay. All right, next. This one is really important. This is something that came out. This is one of those risk factors and protective factors. And I think it's something when we think about drug use and misuse, we don't really consider this, but this is a very important indicator. So for this last survey, 28% of students reported having thoughts of suicide. In 2020, 5% of students surveyed reported thinking about suicide often or a lot. In 2023, with the 2022 survey, that has risen to almost 8%. Now, we had COVID during that time. But the big question, I think, is that number going to sustain going into this next survey? And then of the high school students polled, and this one, unfortunately, this is not a good number, 15% reported an attempted suicide that resulted in an injury that needed to be treated by healthcare professionals. So they're not just thinking about it, they're actually taking action, and we need to pay attention. All right. On that happy note, what can we do? And I'm not asking for this question today because we're almost done with the presentation, but I am asking, our follow-up is, can we come back and really talk to you about some of these numbers in detail? And then really what happens, what is so critical about this, the data tells us part of the story. The data tells us where we can start to focus our interventions, how we can highlight some of the things we've already been doing, but really the idea behind that is how can we solve those problems of connecting our youth to the community, making sure that they feel like they belong, feel engaged. What are the issues there that we need to address? And there will be, it's not just a matter of coming to policymakers with asking for money and policy change. It's a matter of looking at our whole community and saying, how do we need to make sure that we are caring for our young people in a way that keeps them off these substances? Does anyone have any questions?
How were the students surveyed, do you know?
Sure, they were, in the fall we gave a lot of the counselors helped us implement the survey. So it was an online survey that they were given.
And the percentage of, talk about the percentage of
kids?
Sure.
was pretty high?
So you would be looking at Richwood and Somersville Middle and then the 2 high schools. And in all of those, the percentages were in the 70s, except for Somersville Middle, which was a little bit lower, and that was just a miscommunication with the administration when we implemented the survey. So that should be higher the next time around, and it was higher the first time around.
That's the percentage of the number of kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In the 70s at each school. Mhm. So they're not forced to take it, but we do try to
Yeah.
encourage them, and the staff help us out with that. Mhm. Any other questions? And that accounts for absences and those kinds of things as well.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Well, what I'd like to just say is, the city is a invested partner in the coalition, a proud invested partner. As a matter of fact, council, the last council meeting you had, I wasn't here. I was actually doing what Lauren did tonight with other members of the prevention committee. I was part of giving the same program to the Board of Education. But what's exciting about this is there are a lot of works going on in our community. What we just got to do is invest more time and effort and energy. And then of course the good thing of it is this is the kind of stuff when we do something with the results, this is where we'll invest our monies that we received in the opioid settlement. Lots of great things going on, and Lauren, Mark, and Amy, thank you for coming tonight and giving us this presentation.
Thank you. I will just add that the brochure that you have, that is one step that we took this time. We contracted with a marketing firm so that we would have, if we just showed you kind of bulleted points of facts, that doesn't have the same impact as something that's presented in a nice way. So we contracted with a marketing firm. We have these brochures. They helped us with the template for the PowerPoint. We have some posters. And not only will we go to different stakeholders like the Board of Education, the County Commission, you all, but we will also, in the next year, we will be going to each individual schools and we have their report. So that we can go to Richwood Middle School and say to those faculty and staff and parents, this is what is happening at Richwood Middle. This is what's happening at Nicholas County High School. And we will be going with there. And then the reason we're asking for a follow-up is so that we can start to address some of those community questions and what kinds of things, we'll have a facilitated discussion about what kinds of things can we do to move these issues forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you much. Okay. Moving right along, the next item on the agenda would be the City Council grant presentations. And what I would like to do is start first, and normally I don't know that I have a list of exactly who's here to present for these organizations tonight. So if what you would do is if you would come forward, you might announce others that are with you if they don't want to come to the podium, but just introduce yourself and then of course speak to your grant. So we'll start first with the Children's Home Society of West Virginia, and their request is for $10,000. I don't know who's coming, but I'll let her introduce herself.
So my name is Stormy Martin, and I am the supervisor with our Somersville office of Children's Home Society. So the presentation that Ms. Weatherford gave, I could see a lot of same impact. A lot of the children that are in foster care are there because of the drug issues in our state and in our county. And we do have a lot of children that we get referrals for, and sometimes that we take placement of, that are involved in the drugs. So I'm glad to see that they're working on that, trying to come up with something. So a little bit about the agency. We have been in existence since May of 1896, so in a month it will be 128 years that Children's Home Society has been helping care for children. Our mission is always to promote the safety and well-being of the children, try to ensure that they are in safe, loving homes that will nurture them, give them a place to heal and thrive and move forward while they are out of the homes. Should their parents' rights be terminated, then most of our homes are adoptive homes. So that way they do have a place to go, to call home, a family to grow up with, in some manner. We are a nonprofit organization, and we do receive revenue whenever we take children into care from the state, but it seems like since COVID hit, there's been a less demand or less interest in foster care. And that's not just Children's Home Society or our site. We're seeing that in all the agencies statewide. So we're requesting funds just to help offset the cost. Right now, our site alone is running at about a $70,000 deficit. Agency-wide, I think it's projected to be about a $2 million deficit. And until, we're making all these efforts and stuff, trying to figure out ways to recruit, because what we're doing just doesn't seem to really be working a whole lot. So we're trying to get inventive, creative, come up with different ideas to get people interested and let them know what the need is. Funding for that, if we're granted this, some of that fund would just be help offset the cost of recruitment stuff, materials needed whenever we're processing with families. They have to have criminal background checks. There's a lot of paperwork. Any trainings that they have, there's no cost to them if they want to do foster care. We try to prepare our families as best we can so that they are able to take the kids, because these kids come from backgrounds of trauma. So they come with a lot of issues. Even if it's an infant, a lot of people think the infants won't come with that, but a lot of our infants are being porn drug exposed. So they're in withdrawals, and there's the aftermath of that. Right now, our count, we have 9 open home foster homes, but of those, 6 have placement, and we have 15 kids in care. So we're trying to make sure. And then the kids that don't have homes, they're going to shelters, or a lot of them are staying in hotels or DHHR offices. So there is a huge, huge need. Funding we got last year helped with a resource room. So we've been able to help a lot of the community members. You all were talking about the homeless thing. So whenever you all get these calls, if there's anything that we can do, most of our stuff is geared toward children, because we do have a lot of donations, but we've been able to purchase mattresses, car seats, clothing items. We've been able to help a lot of the community members through the funding that we received last year, and we're very grateful for that. Thank you. I think that is pretty much what I have. I have 2 pages, but I'm not going to bore you all with that. I know you've got a lot going on. So, does anybody have any questions? Is there anything that you all would like to know?
The only question I had, you said a $70,000 deficit, that was here in Nicholas County, and then you said $2 million agency-wide. Is that just the state of West Virginia?
Yes, Children's Home Society, the foster care program. So,
West Virginia.
yeah, that's what, 128 years, and the agency, they're an awesome agency to work for. They really are, and they really try to take care of the families, their people, the employees and stuff. So we're trying everything as an agency, not to do layoffs, not to close any of the sites and stuff, but it's just not going to be sustainable long term if we don't increase these foster homes. That's really where we need to get, is get more foster homes interested.
Okay.
So,
Okay, thank you, Stormy.
all right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks.
And what I meant to say before Stormy came to the podium, and I did the same thing last week, or last council meeting, when we entertained the first half of presentations is, of course, council will take it all in, and then at the next council meeting is when they will make the decision on the $50,000 that they're going to give in grants. And then, of course, once they make their decision, it becomes a part of the budget, and the funds will be available to the awardees July 1st of this year, which is, these are for the next fiscal year, the 2024-25 fiscal year. Okay, moving right along, Nicholas County Family Resource Network requesting $25,000.
Hi, my name is Chelsea Beaver, and I am the multidisciplinary investigative team coordinator and forensic interviewer for the Nicholas County Children's Advocacy Center. We operate under an umbrella organization with the Family Resource Network. Our director, Robin Brown, has requested the $25,000 to help ensure that we can maintain operations. This next upcoming fiscal year, our agency will be cut 58% from our VOCA funding, which is a federal grant. We operate off of 2 grants, a state grant, and then the VOCA, which is a federal grant. So nationally, every CAC is getting a 58% cut, and for us, that would be $67,860 in this next upcoming fiscal year. We do also receive like secondary grants, but so far for the next upcoming year, we've been granted $14,000 from United Way and Sisters of the Palatine, and then $5,000 from the city of Richwood. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with the Children's Advocacy Center or what we do. If you would like me to briefly explain that, would that be helpful?
Yeah.
Okay. So we work with a multidisciplinary investigative team approach, which means we work with prosecution, law enforcement, child protective services, therapy services, so mental health, medical examiners to provide sexual assault nurse examinations to children, and advocacy services in terms of the advocate at our center, which works specifically with our non-offending caregivers, as well as the Advocates with Away, which is a domestic violence organization. And so we receive referrals during criminal or abuse and neglect investigations, and I conduct what's called a forensic interview. And that interview is, anybody to be able to do that interview has to be nationally trained with a 40-hour credential class to do that, which makes the interviews developmentally appropriate for the children and sound for court. And so our partner agencies utilize our organization in order for children to come and have best practices. And so we also maintain training for our partner agencies. We have protocols and MOUs with multiple organizations in the community, including the Summersville Police Department. And so we work together to ensure that children don't fall through the cracks and that the families and children that we serve receive all of the services that they would need to be able to thrive beyond what they've experienced. Many of the children that we see do experience poly-victimization, and so we may get a referral for one type of maltreatment, and then we find out it's multiple things occurring in the home. And so with the multidisciplinary approach, we have team members that are there to appropriately help those families and children in ways that they should be helped. And so, I mean, I personally think it's really important that we're able to keep our doors open and be able to keep staffing as is, because for our accreditation, we have to be accredited through our National Children's Alliance, and we have to maintain certain protocols and certain standards to be able to do that. And so if we're not able to continue to operate in the way that we are, we would lose that accreditation.
Okay. Council, any questions?
Where you located?
At 503 Broad Street, right down the road.
Okay, Chelsea, thank you.
Thank you.
You know, it's such a tough thing for these gentlemen to the right and gentlemen to the left that ultimately make the decision on where the funds go, because all of these organizations are worthy of the funding they're requesting. It's just unfortunate that we can't meet those levels, but you know, we'll do the best we can. So both Chelsea and Stormy, thanks for the work you do. We know how important it is to our community. The Nicholas County Shop with a First Responder, requesting $2,500. I recognize this young man as well.
Good evening. So like the previous groups that have come up here to speak, excuse me, Nicholas County Shop for First Responder also helps local children in our county. We've been in operation for 7 years, going on 8 years now, so we've had this event annually for the last 7 years. In 2017, we started with about 40 kids, and then last year we had over 200 kids. So with this year's the eighth year program happening in December, we're right at about 1,000 kids that we've helped since we've been in operation. So with Nicholas County Shop First Responder, we take local police officers, firefighters, EMTs, dispatchers, anybody that works in public safety in our county, and we take local children who are in need. So they may be in poverty, if they meet our requirements, we take them shopping at our local Walmart. So we do this every single year. And these are kids that may not be able to have Christmas if we're not here to help them. All these families, they come from impoverished families within our community, so we're here to try to help them have Christmas, because that's a really hard time for a lot of families around here that might be working 2 or 3 jobs or taking care of another family member at home, so we try to help them. So with our group too, it's a big collaboration of not just hopefully the city of Summersville, but other businesses, churches, other grants that we get throughout the community. Walmart, and there's a few other charities that help, and then as well as different businesses and individuals, they all come together and support this program. So we try to make this a big collaboration, and we try to get support from a wide range of resources in our community. So this year we're asking for $2,500 to help with this year's program, and almost every single dollar that we collect goes straight to these kids. We pay just a little bit each year just to keep our nonprofit status active, and we pay a little bit as well to a couple of restaurants to help feed first responders and the kids. And every other single dollar that we get goes directly to these kids. We shoot to give each child approximately $100. They can spend this on Christmas gifts for themselves, so it could be toys, or they can also get school supplies or clothing too with this. And then if we see a child that we think needs more money, then we try to keep a little bit extra funding for that kid. So if they do need extra winter clothing or school supplies that they're lacking, then we try to help them out with that as well. So with that being said, this is just a great organization that local first responders started 7 years ago, and we have to keep it going every single year. And it's only possible with the help of organizations such as City of Summersville that come together in this community and help us do this for our kids. So that being said, is there any questions for me and my organization?
Okay, Council, and just in case you don't know who this young man is, it's Noah Allen, and he is the fire chief at
Wilderness Fire Department, located in Mount Lookout.
Well, Noah, thank you not only for your entire organization, for the dedication you, each and every one of you that belong to your organization, the things that you do for the communities that you serve, but also what you're doing for the children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item, or the next one up, is the Nicholas Intervention Coalition, and it's a $10,000 request. Actually, I do not see, I don't see Andrea here, so we'll move right on down. Okay, Nicholas Old Main Foundation, a request of $5,424. I recognize these folks. Welcome.
Hello. My name is Crystal Hanks, and this is Greg Skeens, and we're here tonight from the Old Main Foundation. Our president, Rhonda White, wasn't able to attend tonight, but we'd like to thank you for your consideration on our grant application. I don't know if you all are familiar with the Old Main Foundation. I'm sure you are. But we hold a wide variety of events throughout the year, such as the Meet the Candidate we just did. We do class reunions, concerts. We have several businesses that are located in the Old Main. So we do have a wide variety of people who attend different events and things there. So we're asking for a grant to purchase 3 AEDs, one for each floor of the Old Main. Excuse me, I'm nervous. As you know, AEDs are life-saving devices. They more than likely you've heard of an instance, or maybe you have a family member that has had an emergency and you know of a life-saving event that happened with an AED. Based on OSHA, there is approximately 10,000 cardiac arrests in workplaces every year. And there is approximately 356,000 cardiac arrests annually, and nearly 90% are fatal. This is why A fast response with CPR and an AED is crucial. According to the American Heart Association, immediate CPR and early defibrillation with an AED can more than double the victim's survival rate. So we think that we can all agree that doubling someone's odds of survival, is a great thing, and that's why we're asking for this grant. So, as you said, Mayor, we are asking for $5,424. This will cover the cost of 3 AED units, the lighted cabinets that have alarms, that if they are open for deploy, that the alarm goes off. And it also comes with a management prescription, like a subscription program, and that will ensure that we are compliant, protected, and prepared. So if something does, we do have to use the AEDs, it's a monitoring system, and we can send that AED postage paid back to the company. They send us a loaner AED until they service that and make sure that it is still able to be used again. And then it also we can send that readout to the doctor so that they can better help the patient. So the city has been a great supporter of the Old Main Foundation, and we thank you for that support. And
yeah, I just wanted to say that Crystal and I are new members of the board.
yes,
For the last several years, it's kind of been a little bit of inactivity. I've been there and am a business owner and have my yoga studio. I leased it a year ago in January. Since I've been there, we've got 2 new leasees that have come in. So I have, just in my business, I'll have 20 to 30 people in there every day. And the age group that takes yoga is probably 40 to as high as you want to go. So there's always that possibility that something can happen. We now have 5 spaces being leased. So that's more people entering the building. We are going to bring the building back, we're going to bring life back into that building. And when you bring life back into the building, you have to do it safely. So we're working on things like this to help us in our safety endeavors. We're working on other projects that are going to do some of the other things that we need to be done, like the drainage around the building, keeping the water away from it, keeping the roof on it, keeping the windows intact. We're working on all those kind of things. Your help and support in just this small items will go a long way. We can have one on every floor. The response time from the basement to the 3rd floor may be a little slow to get up there. So if you have one on every floor, anything that happens, you'll have something there that can cover. And we'll be trained to use it.
yes, Michelle Underwood has agreed from the health department to come and train us on the AEDs once we receive those.
Yeah, and without taking too much more of your precious time, we shopped around. We wanted to find the best product for the best price. These things are normally about $3,000 a piece, so we think we got us a good deal.
Yes. And Michelle Underwood was the one that recommended the brand that we got, and I made sure that the company that we're planning to go through is something that she agreed it was a upstanding, company, and we're actually getting the same kind that the health department uses.
Yeah. And they're good for both adults and children.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much
Do
for
you
your
have any
consideration.
questions or anything?
Any questions, council?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Crystal and Greg, thanks for your presentation. Thanks for the work that you do with the Old Main Foundation.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for
we
your time.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next up is Summersville Rotary Club, and they're requesting $6,520.
Flip the switch.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for allowing Steve and I to come this evening and speak about the Rotary Club and our grant request. As you may be aware, our Rotary Club is very active in the community with projects. I'm just going to tell you a few of our projects that we've done. Since COVID, we've done a coat drive every year where we go out to all the elementary schools within Nicholas County, and any child that's in need, the teachers let us know. We supply them with a coat. That's a partnership with the county commission, and we are going to continue that. We purchased a rescue boat for the Summersville Fire Department, as well as an underwater drone for the E911 Center. With the help of a grant from Nichols County Community Foundation, we're currently installing vape detectors in Summersville Middle School. This was requested from the principals. I guess it's a problem there. We're also, with the help with the Nichols County Community Foundation, we purchased new outdoor furniture for the pool, as well as a vacuum to clean the pool. And right now we're working with a grant from the St. Patrick's Day Parade to install shelters and shade for the pool. Rotarians are visible and we volunteer in the community. We purchase Christmas hams for the food pantry each year. We're awarding 10 scholarships for deserving seniors. We cook for the sailors for the hospice regatta. We volunteer at the gate, as well as bingo for the Nichols County Fair. We organize the potato auction, volunteer for the Easter egg hunt, and every year we supply every third grader in Nichols County with dictionaries. And this year, Steve and Leah, his wife, along with other Rotarians, worked the concession stand at the high school and were able to raise $6,000 for the prom. So Steve's going to tell you a little bit about our project that we're asking for the grant.
Okay. It's our intention that we'd like to replace 8 benches that are in pretty bad shape at the park right now. The new benches would be replaced in kind, basically, with what you see at the children's playground area. The cost to do this is approximately $11,008, which is $4,488 to purchase the new benches, along with $6,520 to do the demolition and replacement of the concrete and new benches in the area.
The park's used by so many people and grandparents and walkers and all that, and the benches aren't very safe right now. to sit
You
on.
can get a lot of splinters up there if you want to go right now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any questions about our request?
Okay, the Summersville Rotary Club, when you talk about movers and shakers, that's the club. I mean, I endorse that emphatically. So please take back to your club. We appreciate everything you guys do. I mean, your footprints run this city one side to the other. And we're very grateful for all the works you do for the city, and for that much, you do a lot for the county as well. So we appreciate it, and we thank you for your presentation tonight. Thanks.
We appreciate you guys as well. Thank you.
Good job. Okay, next is Summersville Public Library, and I do recognize that we have our librarian here tonight. So Robin, if you'd like to come forward, Robin Holmes.
Hi. We gave away all the calendars.
Good.
Yes. Okay. I will give you mine when I
Okay.
I broke my copier at work, so. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have applied for a grant through the Dollar General Literacy Foundation for $5,000, and we needed to do matching funds. $4,000 of it is going to be in kind, which means it's going to be me, staff, anything that we can do. What we're wanting to do with this is have a GED class. We get asked on almost a daily basis for GED books, materials. Do we know where they can go? So what we do is we actually make copies of anything we can for anyone and give it to them for free and stuff. But the books are usually anywhere from $30 to $50 a piece. And anytime we buy those and put them in our collection and they get checked out the first time, they never come back. So it just makes it very, it's just hard to hold on to them. So we keep some in the back with us, and anybody that comes in can look at them in the library and everything and stuff. But what we would like to do is actually get a teacher and pay them to come in and do a class. We would like to get some laptops. We want to help people. I think people forget that the library's there, and we're there to provide, whatever you would need. I mean, we can, it's just not GED, it could be SAT, ACT, ASVAB, we want to help. And we are going to partner with Nicholas County Board of Education, Save the Children, West Virginia Workforce, Friends Are Fun Daycare Center, Camden Family Health, Seneca Healthcare Services, and Nicholas County Community Action. We would like to do this on a weekly basis, at least 1 hour a week. And like I said, we want to be able, and even if you don't want to come in for the class, we don't want people to feel like they have to come in for that hour class. We want to at least be able to give them the books and everything for them to study and to feel good about themselves, and and to be at home and not feel pressured. And then whenever you would want to come in, we have someone there that's willing and able to help. So, anything else, Ann, that you could think of? She did the grant for us. She's great, by the way.
Kudos to Ann about it.
I know. She is awesome. She is so good. But like I said, we just want to be able to help people. We want them to know that the library's there and stuff. And, and that's something that, I still want to help with. By the end of this year, I will be retiring. So whoever takes over will take over this. But I just, want to give whoever it is a great start. And I want people to, remember that we're there and stuff, and it doesn't have to just be this. Just everybody just remember we're there and come and see us, and we want to help anyone we can with anything. So, thank you.
Hey,
Yes.
anybody have any questions? Robin, just so I don't have to track you down tomorrow, I want to make a comment.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions as to her request? You mentioned laptops, and
Yes.
so at the end of the meeting, in mayor comments, I was going to thank the Board of Education, because we're getting ready to roll out iPads, potentially next month to council. And those iPads are complements of the Nicholas County Board of Education. They cycle those iPads out from the kids. They're perfectly working. I mean,
Right.
I've laid my eyes on them. We bought the whatever it is, the cover for it. They are perfect working iPads, but they cycle them out through the kids. And so the Board of Education has donated 9 to the city for us to be able to use to conduct business and move into modern day times with modern day technology. So one thing that I would just think about when you mentioned laptops. So first of all, on behalf of the city, I thank the Board of Education for our many partnerships we do, but also for their donating those 9 iPads to the city that we're going to eventually use here in council chambers for our business.
Yes.
But I also would tell you that you should reach out to them because I know it's a reoccurring thing that they have with those iPads, and so you should reach out to them. It might be something you could use those for this program.
Exactly. We can use that for those. And they actually did donate, it was either 10 or 12 to the library. We're just waiting to get the cords.
Okay.
And stuff. So yes.
Okay, so
yes.
you did get some. Okay, good.
Yes, one of our board members works at the Board of Education, and she let us know about it. So we were able to get those, and I believe 2 65-inch TVs that we are going to try to start like little gaming competitions and stuff like that. We're trying to get kids in the library, so
Okay, good.
got to do what we can.
And I may have failed to say at the beginning too, your request was for $6,000. Okay, thank you.
You can
Okay.
have mine.
Oh, thank you.
you. Sorry. Thank
Okay,
you.
next is Summersville Tailgate Market Association. And somehow this guy found himself on the agenda twice tonight, for this one and the next one. Brian Sparks, welcome.
Yeah, so as I walked in, Noack, it kind of reminded me of he hit me with a lawn question, and he's kind of got me stumped on, and he's been after me for a good bit of time about it, and it reminded me of my first day of work, which was 22 years ago, and I walked in the office, and I had a window like this, and so I was looking out that window, and I saw a gentleman walking up through the parking lot, and I knew he was coming to see me, and so I grabbed hold of my phone, and I started pretending like that I was making a recommendation on how to treat algae on a pond, which I knew about that. And so, you know, I went through the process of, you know, you can do it the natural way, throw a bale of barley out there, or you can use a chemical like copper sulfate or something like that. So I saw the guy come in the door, and I just motioned, go ahead and sit down there. So I went on a while, and I thought I'd done a really good job. I looked over at him, I said, well, welcome, sir. And how can I help you today? And he said, well, I'm the telephone guy here to hook up your telephone. That's what you get into. But I'll work on yours. I'm trying. Hey, this Summersville Tailgate Market, so we talk about time to shift gears, and that's where I'm at on this. The Summersville Tailgate Market has been in existence since probably the 80s. I'd say we're pushing 45, 50 years. I don't know how far we go back, but we've seen a decline in growers. And this market was set up to be for local Nicholas County farmers to sell their produce to the citizens of the county, which it landed here in Summersville above the Dairy Queen. We've had a lot of good commercial growers through the years, and even when I first started, but some of them have aged out, and now you always depended on one or two real secure growers, and everybody else kind of rode on their shirt tails, but they had some extra stuff they could fill in and sell. Well, those commercial growers have declined, but those commercial growers could be there 4 or 5 days out of the week. That market was open 6 days a week. Well, now it's been kind of sporadic. So a grower, they try to space it out so someone will be there on Monday, and maybe somebody else on Wednesday, and Saturday's a big day, and it's not working too good, or it hadn't, because people would come up to buy some things and no one would be there. Well, if you come a couple times and no one's there to sell something, you're done with it, right? And so I saw that this thing was starting to dwindle just a little bit, and these growers were starting to dwindle just a little bit. So I thought, well, you know, we got to change this up. And so one thing we looked at is we're going to target 2 days, as you can see there, and we're going to really advertise these hard. We're going to go with a Wednesday and Saturday deal from like 8 to noon. And these growers are going to try to commit starting June 1st throughout the season, and it'll probably wrap up by the 1st of October. We'll be lucky to stretch this through September. But one of the things that came out of when I would go out and see all these growers, because I see them all, gardeners, big growers, you know, they're selling at their own farm stand or their own road stand now, because legislation in the state has really softened up on this food outlets and how you can sell things. We've got it now to where we can sell just about anything. And you can do it on farms. You could only do it at farmers markets. So one thing I hit them up about is they said, we'd hate to go out there and set up and nobody show up to buy our stuff. And that was one thing that was keeping new growers away. And so that's the reason we've looked at really advertising these days hard. Now the market's going to be open. They can still come. I still got some diehards that just don't want to give it up, but they can come throughout the week and set up. But with knowing that we're really going to focus hard on these 2 days, Wednesdays and Saturdays. So in order to make this thing happen, you've just about going to have a head person. So I went to the county commission, and Commissioner Chapman's here, and I said, look, hey, I need some funding to hire a market manager, someone that can market, develop a social media platform, to boom, get this out there, recruit vendors, and then also recruit customers and work on that and kind of coordinate things. So they graciously gave me some funding to hire that. And that's what you have. There's a job description of this person that I'm looking for to kind of handle this. I hope I've got enough funding to make it happen. But this is a person that's going to work and be committed to this project. because I got too many irons in the fire myself to be out there every day, twice a week, to make sure this is going to happen, plus do some of the recruitment on the end of the vendors and whatnot. The other thing that I've asked you, Mayor, how much did I ask for in the grant there?
$3,100.
$3,100. And so we need to look at some marketing for sure, and then we need to be able to reach out for some funding. So this organization was set up as a nonprofit, but they never set it up as a 501c3. So I don't know what kind of curveball that's going to throw, but they've got to try to get that. And that takes some money. If you all have ever developed a 501c3 organization so you can accept funding, it takes dollars. You know, it's going to take anywhere from $600 to $800, $900 just to make that application, my understanding. So then we need to be able to do that, and so that's what we need to use some of this funding for, and then we need to get onto the marketing end of things. So whether we're developing some banners that we can put up, maybe some stick-in signs that can be taken in and out every day that the market is open, or some creative things that maybe this new market manager can think outside the box a little further than I can. So we want to make it a success because I think it's the cool thing now for towns to have farmers markets. But we needed them out of necessity as farmers. And so this local food push is here. I think it's great that we have it in the city. This outlet and the customer base is there, no doubt. And so we just need to try to help take it to the next step. And so that's what we're kind of asking for some of this funding to do, is help us get to this next step.
Council, any questions? Okay.
So please spread this application around.
How long does your manager gonna be working?
So I run out of money. So, you know, we have it set up 100 hours. So we've got $1,300 from the commission that they've worked with me to make that happen, and hopefully I'll find somebody that'll be willing to throw in a little extra, just to be honest with you. It's community oriented. But they'll definitely try to have them on board. I'd like to have them on board by the middle of May and get things kicked off.
Okay. All right, no questions on the tailgate market. We'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is the WVU Nicholas County Extension Service. Brian Sparks, $5,000 request.
Yep. So every year we do a partnership, and this is for the Progressive Farm Safety Day. And so what this boils down to is it's a partnership with the Nicholas County School that we invite every third grader in the county to come to our safety day. And this partnership, they provide the transportation, the Board of Education does. We provide a lot of the instruction as extension. Lauren's here tonight, Amy was here, and we get some other people from the Nicholas County Farm Bureau to be educators also. And so what the sessions are is, let me tell you some more partners. So the biggest partner is this Progressive Agriculture Foundation. And what this partner does, this big partner, is this is a national program that's devoted for safety, and they provide a t-shirt with a new design every year to the youth, plus provide me some liability insurance to offer for our event, plus give us the curriculum, plus give us a goodie bag that we can stuff with goodies to send home with the kids that revolve around safety. Where they get their funding is they go to these big companies like Bunge, Nutrena, you've heard of them, Farm Credit, Cargill, John Deere Tractor, State Farm Insurance. And so they go to these companies to help pay for these materials that they send us. And so on these safety day sessions, we teach ATV safety, sun safety, tractor, food, animal, lawnmower, and then this is where I need your help for the funding. We teach a fire safety class, and with the funding I work with Lowe's, talk about another partnership, and they knock these down to just as cheap as they can get them for me. And we make sure each kid goes home with 2 smoke detectors. So in the class, they're taught where to install this, how to install it, how to pull the safety thing out of the battery, and then they're also taught how to get a safety plan together. If this goes off where there's a family, they'll meet out of the way of any emergency vehicles. And then we teach a first aid safety session. We send these kids home with a first aid kit. And we also educate them about, you know, what to do with these items that are in the first aid kit if there's an injury or something that they could use. So we put those items in the goodie bags, and that's what we send home with the kids, and hopefully we'll never have to measure any impact of some of the safety that we've taught these kids. And so y'all been a partner with this in the past for many years, and so as you can see, it brings a lot of entities together for the good of the cause. And the city has been really instrumental in making sure these kids go home with these smoke detectors. I guarantee you I won't use all the 5,000. I'll use whatever it costs on the smoke detectors, which it'll be less, in the first aid kits, it'll be less than 5,000.
Okay, any questions? Okay, Brian, thanks. And again, thanks for all you do in partnership with the city and in our community. Thanks so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, the next is Wally Squadron. I'll recognize this gentleman.
Am I not last? I'm usually last.
Now there's one more.
I am Buck Emmerich, representing Water Squadron RC Flyers, which is a remote patrol flying group here in Summersville. We've been our club in existence since 1980, but we started our events in 1991. This will be our 33rd year. I always say I hate following everybody because there's desperate need, and we're entertainment and tourism, basically. It benefits the county, it benefits the local city, and everybody in it. It's good, family, clean, fun entertainment. People come. Last year we had over 12 states represented, and that may not seem like a lot, but to gather up and come here and stay for a week, that's a pretty good bunch of people. 200 registered pilots and their families. That's meals and lodging and everything else that we bring into the city, and we do it all for free with help from the city and our fundraisers, different things, raffles. On our Saturday we do hot dogs and then an evening dinner. It's free if anybody wants to donate. Children's Home Society is always up there to serve it for us on a donation basis, and I think they do fairly well at it, and I'm tickled for that. Everything that we gather in every year, actually last year was our biggest surplus of funds. We had a $3,000 carryover that we'd never had before, which we're bringing into this one, and hopefully as we get bigger, that'll help offset some of our costs that we have. What started out as a few hot dogs turned into a $16,000 event. That's between our food and water and toilets and fireworks. We have a good fireworks show on Saturday night. It again, you know, I always tell you, I feel bad even asking for it, knowing that there are things that people really, really need, but I think sometimes entertainment's needed as well.
Yeah, Wally, don't be so quick to sell yourself out, because as you analyze everybody that's been here tonight, you play as an important role in what you do for this community is what they do for this community. Because when you talk about even digging into the presentation that we had tonight, you know, sometimes if there's something we get gigged on, it's activities for people to get involved in and invest time in. That keeps them out of some of those roads that they get down, that unfortunately we need these many great services that we have. So don't ever feel bad about coming before City Council, because you stand before us with a need that's just as important as every need before you. And I truly believe that.
Thank
Council, do you have any questions? Wally Squadron, $1,000 request.
What have you seen over the years as far as your attendance?
But prior to the pandemic, we were up somewhere in the 150, 175 pilot registration. But it's increased from that, but our spectator count goes up every year. We've went from a couple hundred to a couple thousand. We'll fill Phillips Run the bottom up completely. Last year we was fortunate it had perfect weather and it showed. We had, I mean, the bottom was full. That's a pretty big field and we load her up. Yeah. This year's event's the 14th to the 17th of August.
Okay. Wally, thank you.
All right. Thank you all.
Okay, now with honors of being last to unseat Wally.
No, I don't want to do that to Wally.
New Beginnings Resource Center, and council, this is the one that we had on the agenda for last time, and so easy to happen.
I do apologize.
No
My
problem.
job, actually, I got involved, I worked for the college and my boss, and I was like, oh my God, I
Yep.
missed it. So I do apologize, and I do thank you for a second chance, an opportunity. I'm Rita Robinson, and I'm with New Beginnings Resource Center, and we are located at 50 Stonewall Drive in the old Sears building. About 4 or 5 years ago, this gentleman graciously offered us the Sears building to move our resource center from. It began in 2016 with the flood. Here, our church is right up the street here, New Beginnings Worship Center. Folks started bringing things to us and to help us distribute to the flood victims. And then from that, we started serving meals on our own as a church, and then I have a passion for diapers, and the mayor knows all that. he knows how passionate I am about it. But anyway, for diapers and products for children. And then we had some ladies in the church decide they'd like to start a clothing ministry. So it moved from our little fellowship hall up to our 3rd floor, and then to the carpet and floor store. We are a 501c3, totally dependent upon grants and donations. Our church, if we need help, they're there, but our church does not put anything into this building that we use and all that. Our biggest overhead for this right now is, of course, expenses for utilities. We do have to pay the power bill where we're at, and then we also buy our food and our hygiene products that we give away and our diapers and things of that nature. We do have some churches that help, thanks to Mary Waters. She's a fundraising fool, I have to say. She helps us quite a bit. She takes care of the clothing piece of that. So we are asking for $15,000. And before I do go further, I want to say thank you all who have been very generous to us, and we greatly appreciate it. That's where the $15,000 would go for food purchases, for food, water, hygiene products, things of that nature. We also do a giveaway every year. We've done it for the past 2 years to the school kids. We actually have the children come from pre-K up to college ready. They come and they actually get to shop. The kids have to be there. They have to come with their parents. We provide school supplies. We do our very best to round up some new clothing for them. We give them snacks, and iHeart, we work close with iHeart. They come some and give out food as well. So, just all of that together, of course, it takes money. Our original budget over the last few years, we've ran on about $25,000. And now with the cost of everything going up, food, utilities and all that, we're looking this year at probably a $30,000 or $35,000 budget. We sadly have lost our grant writer, which was our former pastor. He's still involved in it, Stacy Dingus. He does help us with a lot of things. He actually has secured us a grant from the U.S. government for us to purchase a 26-foot box reefer truck, a refrigerated truck, so that we can get up to Cisco Foods in Virginia, who are very gracious on occasion, granting us the opportunity to go get frozen foods and whatever other foods that they might have, or food products. They're a restaurant company that provide, you've probably seen their trucks, they're all over the country. He was able to partner with them. So we do get that. When we do get that, we not only give it away to individuals, but we also give it away to our private business owners here. Whatever we have, we get what we need or can afford to store at our center, and then we open it up to the public, to business owners, to churches, to anybody. We put it out there on Facebook, and you put it out there and they will come. So that's what we're all about. Everything we do, everything that we provide is free. It's not just for the citizens of Nicholas County. We actually have served pretty much all of this state, especially central West Virginia and southern West Virginia, and actually some other surrounding states. We also have sent things overseas, not food, but we send clothing things overseas to, it's a project that Mary works on. She takes care of that. Our church does support that. They will give us money to ship it because there is a charge for that. But other than that, that's what we're all about. I do want to say one more thing. It was very, I can't even put it in words. It was wonderful to hear you say that you have a coalition going on for the homelessness. If we can be of any benefit or any help, please let us know. We serve a lot of homeless folks that show up on that third Saturday of the month for distribution. There's some homeless folks that are housed around us, and out throughout the county. We work with the DRC. We work with the health department, Michelle. We're there for whoever, whenever, whatever we can do. So that's what we're here for. And the $15,000 again is just for expenses for our utilities, for food and water, purchasing that kind of thing, and for health and beauty aids and diaper supplies and things like that. So that's where we're at.
Council, any questions? Well, Rita, again, it's just so repetitive tonight, but of course, yes, I know your passion for what you do, and the entire group that you represent. I've come up there a time or two, and it shines that you all care, you care, and so we're thankful and blessed to have people like you and all those behind you in our community. So thank you for the work you do, and thanks for your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you as a council for having that heart to help the community and be able to support some of these things. Because if we didn't have you all, there's a lot of things that we wouldn't have.
And both Jim and Mary Ann are on that commission, so after what you said today, I'm sure they'll be in touch.
Awesome. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Okay, council. I will remind you again that the actual applications, if there's additional information you want or need, are available here at City Hall. And what I do plan to do is put this on the May 13th agenda for the actual distribution of funds. I will say that Councilman Underwood brought to our attention that we had the wrong amount on the form before. So the designated amount, budgeted amount for the give from City Council is $50,000. Okay, moving right along. Reporter's report.
No report this evening.
No report. Okay, Mayor's report. Just a couple of things I want to highlight, Council. First of all, at the last meeting, we approved a change to the leave vacation policy here at the City of Summersville. And in a real proud way, that affected 13 employees, totaling a total of 152 hours by the time this fiscal year's out. So again, another great program, and on behalf of myself, I'm just kind of a little discouraged that I didn't bring that sooner, because amending that policy has been something that needed done for some time. But in an encouraging way, in a positive way, it's affected 13 city employees. The other thing I want to highlight is the Nicholas County Youth for Christ. They're having what they're calling a rally in the alley And of course, I call it a rally at the Pavilion and on Main Street. They're calling it the Alley. This is going to take place on May 2nd from 6 to 9 p.m. Again, it's going to be here in the Pavilion area and also on Main Street. A lot of exciting things happening. There was a similar celebration like this last year, and it took place more down towards the courthouse and on the street next between the vault. This year they've asked us to move it down this way, and we're going to shut down Broad Street and we're going to shut down Main Street from Main to Court on May 2nd. Got a lot of neat stuff happening that night, and the Mountaineer will be here, and of course it's going to be a real special treat because the Mountaineer now is from, am I wrong? Yeah, okay, it's the kicker. Okay, the Mountaineer kicker will be here. Misinformation. I'm glad I got fact checkers here tonight. Yeah, the kicker from the Mountaineers will be present that night.
He's not from Richwood.
No, he's not. No. Casey Legg. As a matter of fact, I got his name down. If I just read what's in front of me. WVU football kicker Casey Legg will be here. So anyway, a lot of great things going on. Music, food. They've got some folks coming to the table. Camden Family Health, Fat Eddie's. The city of Summersville is a sponsor. The Nicholas Coalition Intervention. So another great opportunity, another activity for youth. And so we're excited to be a part of the Nicholas County, they go by the Nicholas County Youth for Christ organization. So May 2nd. The last thing I'd like to do is highlight the Nicholas County tire collection, tire disposal for Nicholas County citizens. This actually takes place May 8th. It's at the Summersville Arena and Conference Center at the lower lot. You could do 10 tires per person. That is strictly enforced. The tires must be off the rim, and they will only accept passenger car tires or light truck tires. Again, this is May 8th from 8 to 4 p.m. And this is a program put off by the DEP and REAP. So mark your calendars, folks. If you got tires, this is an opportunity. And by the way, it's free. They take your tires and there's no cost to take them. Okay, Andrea, saw you walk through the door. We'll go ahead and back up and take you if you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Andrea's here representing the Nicholas Intervention Coalition.
Yes. So the Nicholas Intervention Coalition is a collaboration of organizations that work together to reduce substance use in Nicholas County. So we receive funding to do initiatives throughout the community, but the organization itself doesn't have funding to operate. So we're asking the city for help with funding for administrative costs, accounting services, taxes, insurance, premiums, and general administrative expenses.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions? Okay. Andrea, we actually had a presentation tonight.
Yes.
The prevention committee was before us representing the coalition.
Right.
So lots of good work being done in the coalition. And
yeah, so you guys saw a little bit about the data that we've been collecting in the community. In order for us to really be able to gauge our efforts, we have to be able to have a baseline. And so now we have a baseline. We have data that we're collecting. So now we can gauge our efforts and what it's actually improving. So it's been a long time coming. We have 2 years of consistent data, so we're definitely moving in the right direction. So
good deal. And your request was actually for $10,000.
Right.
Okay.
That is the request.
Okay, council, any questions?
What's your total budget like for overheads and so forth? That's what you're...
So typically we get about $30,000 from the Substance Abuse Prevention Grant. It's a block grant that we get from our prevention lead. And those monies are for like our work plan to do those initiatives. And Typically, in a lot of other counties, they're able to connect with their FRN and establish a fiscal agent that way. However, in our county, we have not been able to achieve that, so we established our own 501c3, and because of that, we have the overhead administrative costs. So.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, Andrea, thanks for all your volunteerism in the community and
Yes,
everything you do to help us fight the cause.
Yes,
Thanks.
absolutely.
Thanks
Thank
for
you all
coming
for
out.
your time.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, council reports. Any council reports? Okay, none. I thought I might kick us into an executive session just to keep you a little bit longer, council.
Thank you very much.
Okay, council, listen, what a great meeting tonight. Seriously, highlights of our community, the needs of our community. We got to promote an officer. So with that said, great meeting, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a first and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion so carries. Have a great evening, council. Thank you.